Hello, today is our last revision session and we're going to look at ordering decimals. So first of all we need to understand what the place value is of each number in a decimal number that we are given. So it's the same as ordering normal numbers. So if I asked you which was greater, the number 34 or the number 35, you would know that the bigger number is 35 because there are 3 tens in both numbers, but there are 5 units instead of 4 units. So that's a greater number. It's the same when we start ordering decimals. So let's say, for example, we have the decimal 3.86. Now we understand that that's 3 whole units, 8 tenths, and 6 hundredths of the next whole unit. So if I wanted to make another whole unit, I would need to add on 14 more parts, 14 more hundredths in order to make this my next whole unit. If I was comparing it to the number 1.23, you could use your knowledge of whole numbers and go, well, 3 is greater than 1, so therefore I don't need to look any further in these columns. I already understand that this is a bigger number than this number. If you were given a number that was quite similar, 3.86 and 3.48, if the column on the furthest left, so the units, is the same, you just jump to the next column and say which is the greater number here. Well, 8 is the greater number, so therefore I don't need to look any further. This number is greater than this number. If I then had a look here at a number again that's very similar, well, I know that this is the smallest number because 3.4 is smaller than 3.8 or 3.8. So that's going to be smaller. But what about these ones here, where we have 3.8 and 3.8? Now we jump to the hundredths column and we look at which is the greater number there. So 3.86 is a greater number than 3.84. 3.48 is smaller, even though it has the biggest hundredths number. Tenths is a bigger part, so we always look at the tenths first. You start at this side on the left and then you move across slowly, figuring out which is the greater number in each column. When you don't have columns and you're just given a number line, you still need to keep that knowledge in your head. So first of all, if we look at this number line here from between the number 1 and the number 2, we're going to be looking at parts of a number. So one whole and then parts of a number until we get to number 2. We already know what a quarter, a half and 3/4 are as decimal numbers. So a half of a number is 0.5. So we can get this one whole and a half of the next and put it right in the middle as 1.5. Then we look for our quarter if there is one. So 1.25, 0.25 is our quarter. And 0.75 is our 3/4. Remember I said you need to be really confident knowing that 0.25, 0.5 and 0.75 are a quarter, a half and 3/4. Now if we were to get this number, 1.9, well, all these numbers are one whole, so then I start looking at the 10th column. The biggest number I put on the line is 7, so 1.9 is going to go after the 7. It's closer to the number 2. If I got 1.1, well, the 10th column is a 1, and the 10th column on this side over here is a 2. So I know that this must be a smaller number, so I can slot that in here. If I was to get 1.95, well, I had 1.9, and now I've got a 5 as well. So I've got 9 tenths, and then I've also got 5 of those little hundredths as well, which makes that a greater number. So I'm going to slot this in here. And it doesn't fit perfectly, so I'm just going to pop a little line up so we know that that's where that goes. Then we've got 1.3 and 1.35. Now 1.3 and 1.35, the units and the tenths are the same, but I still have 5 of those little hundredths, making this a greater number in total. So I find, if I just move up to 5 a little bit, I find where I would put 1.3, which is between 1.2 and 1.5. So I slot those in like that. Because I can't fit them in, I would just put a little line up. Then you always, in a quiz, go back and check. So you've got 1.1, yep, 1.2, 2, yep. 1.3 and 1.3, but my 5 makes that number greater. 1.5, 1.75, 1.9, and 1.95. Now I would like you to have a go. So what I would like you to do is freeze the picture as you've got it here and draw out a little number line on a spare sheet of paper. I've made it a little bit trickier for you because I've got the numbers between 1 and 2 and then also the numbers between 2 and 3. So you're going to have to look at the units as well and try and order those numbers. So have a go, get ready, and then revise all of the videos and have a go at the homework that I set for you on the newsletter, and our quiz will be tomorrow after lunch. Okay, bye.